Hi guys, we are at Do New. It's a platform where we bring our new influencers or entrepreneurs and some of the brightest minds who are doing extraordinary in their field. And with me, I have my co-host Disha.
Hi guys, it's Disha here. So Aditya Arora is the guest for this podcast. He's very young, but at the same time, at a very young age, has achieved quite a bit in the startup world. So let's just hear it from him. Actually, startup world in the investor point of view, not and that's actually all the more interesting to know the story. Let's hear it from him.
Sure.
How did you break
Thank-
through to the path?
Yeah. So thank you so much, first of all, to Disha and to Kapil for having me here in this two new podcast. And I wish you the best in this journey, and may you get to interview great entrepreneurs and influencers. And it's
Yes,
a pleasure
starting.
being here. I hope everyone is safe during these testing times.
Correct.
So, as Disha very informally and very greatly explained that my journey started. I'm young. I'm 20, still 22. The birthday is due this week only. So my so will be turning 23. So so basically, I am one of the chief executives officer of FARD. We are an early stage investor network, and we invest in early stage startups in pan India. So yeah, I'm the money guy, as they say. I fund early stage entrepreneurs, and yeah, would be happy to sort of talk more about the journey, about investments, about startup, and discuss with all of.
So Aditya, I would like to know, like you could have think for any other name, but why FAD?
Okay, great. So yeah, couple. That's a very interesting question. I get this so often. So FAD basically is a North Indian wordplay. It's a Hindi wordplay for meaning something awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all when we were young, when we were young, we used to always say this word, right? कि बहुत फाड़ दिया या बहुत फाड़ काम करा.
Correct.
And FAD was something synonymous of doing something awesome, right? So that's where we were. We used to use this term a lot in school, and we used to believe it doing awesome work. And here we are doing FAD work.
Correct. So
How did you get through fast?
hmm.
Now that's a journey that anybody would want to know. How did you get into it?
So it's a very interesting journey. Disha cut the long story a bit short because it's very short journey, but a very enticing and a very enriching one. So it started at the age of 17 when I was in school, and I had sold off a company. I had prepared investor reports for a company, and that company eventually ended up getting sold for about 2 CR, right? It was a
Nice.
big amount for me at that point of time. So
Oh.
I earned a lot of money out of it. Did not know what to do with all of it, so I ended up burning all of that into stock markets and just partying along. So when I was in college, I went to Shri College of Business Studies, which is one of the pioneer colleges for studying undergraduate finance in India. So I was like, you'll get the placements and everything. You've come to a good college. You'll carve out something for yourself, right? But life is full of experimentation, right? You can't move on a single line. So I always wanted to sort of do something around startups, work with the real time startup, get to know more about the startup side and practical side of things.
Hmm.
And it's at that point of time in 2015, startups were just picking up. Companies like
Correct,
Oyo,
correct.
Byju's were coming into the scene, right?
Correct, correct.
So that's where it started. I interned at a company called FAD. I was picked up through college. I interned with them. I was interviewing entrepreneurs just like you guys are doing right now. I was interviewing entrepreneurs, investors, and basically getting to know about their journey, their struggles, their failures. And that's where the practical side of things came to me, right? They say human is a book in itself, and that's where I
Correct,
learned the
correct.
most about startups. So that's where the fire in the belly began, right? To explore more about startup ecosystem. Ended up becoming the CEO of Art Times, which was the media portal where I was interning a couple of months back.
Correct.
And then, yes, in 2017, we were working as a one-stop solution for all entrepreneurial needs, right? We were helping with content, PR, accounting services, TA services. So we were a one-stop solution for all entrepreneurial needs, right? And content was one part of it. So I ended up leading content for FAD. And then in 2017, we pivoted to just investments when we realized that you can't help startups with everything. There has to be a one point where you build your niche and where you build your brand and investments. Was that clarion call for us? And yeah, till the end, I was in the final year of my college.
Mhm.
I was getting placement offers. I was selected for FAD, and I became the CEO of that company. So yeah,
Nice. So,
then
From an
Aditya,
intern to CEO.
correct, absolutely.
yeah,
So, from a smallest bit to the highest post, actually. So,
exactly.
so Aditya, tell us more about what your company does and how it is different from other competitors or the other companies which are present in the market right now. And
Sure,
how big is the
sure.
team presently?
Sure, Kapil. Sure, Kapil. So I'll answer that question in three folds. One, what does FAR do? So as I told earlier, FAR is an early stage investor network, and
Mhm.
we invest in early stage companies based out of Pan India.
Okay.
So we have 140 plus people in our investors in our network now,
Mhm.
and we invest in startups right from the seed level, where the seed sows, to the Series A level, where VCs and institutions come in. So we are
Correct.
working in that early stage gap. Anywhere from 25 lakhs to 3 crore is taken care by the network. And then we
Mhm.
also have a investment banking arm which deals with VCs, micro VCs. And we pick that ticket size from 3 crores to about $2 million. These
Yeah.
are all sector agnostic investments. We look at any sector, either right from gaming to enterprise SaaS to IoT,
Mhm.
to blockchain to cryptocurrency even. So we look at every sectors with equal importance.
Uh-huh.
And that is a brief about FAR. Second, your question about how we are different. So there are a lot of early stage investor networks in India, right? If you talk about Mumbai Angels, we talk
Mhm.
about companies like Angel Network. They
Correct.
started in 2007, 2008, at a point of time where investments were not very present in India.
Mhm.
Private investments, early stage startup investments were not present in India. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's where that's that. So obviously they are old, but this space is not about competition, right? It's about a
Correct.
difference altogether. It's about
Uh-huh.
collaboration,
Mhm.
because um, most of the work that are done by other angel networks in the form of diligence, in the form of scrutiny of founders,
Correct.
always help us to sort of bring in capital from our network as well. And most
Uh-huh.
of the network, the people that work there are most of us are friends, right? We sit
Correct.
down for a cup of coffee or a beer, we enjoy, we talk about startups, and that's where we grow together, right?
Correct.
Uh, but yeah, one difference I would say is in the sum of a journey perspective is most of the early stage investor networks were started by people who had a lot of early stage investment experience.
Correct.
We, in our case, FAD was a startup back in 2015. It's still a startup, but that time we were working like a full functioning startup, right? Investments were not in the scenario, so
Mhm.
we have through that struggle, that pain of an entrepreneur, and we realize how
Mhm.
difficult is it to build startups in India. We've been in their shoes,
Absolutely.
so that is one thing that gives us an added advantage to building out more companies. And yeah, that's where we are right now.
Which are the blockchain startup, IoT startups that you have worked with? I don't know, just curious.
Yeah. So blockchain, Disha, my personal opinion is that blockchain is a very wide technology. A lot of companies are still building and leveraging that technology.
Correct. Correct.
Cryptocurrency has just been last month has been legalized by Supreme Court of India, right? So
Correct.
a
Correct.
lot of traction needs to be seen in that space too. A lot of startups will definitely come in this era of now, after being legalized by the Supreme Court. So
Mhm.
yeah, and in terms of IoT startups, yes, we do work with a lot of home automation IoT startups, enterprise IoT startups, who are building out industrial apps, who are building out
Mhm.
home automation solutions, and other IoT things. And again, IoT is also very, very vast technology. And in India, the IoT infrastructure is still very at a very nascent stage. It
Correct. Correct.
still
Correct.
needs to develop.
Correct.
So we still need to develop inbound IoT solutions and not integratable copy waste idea solution, right?
Mhm.
So yes, once that happens, obviously we have to do. Most of the focus of FAR, if you talk about the companies, has been towards consumer tech or
Uh-huh.
consumer brands or consumer products. But
Mhm.
yeah, as I said, look at all sectors with equal importance, and IoT is also something
One
that
of them.
fits with our theme.
Correct. 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 So Aditya, once you become a CEO at such a early age startup where you have such a big responsibility, so right now people are enjoying their free time. Do you actually get free time? And if you do, what you do in that?
So yeah, Kapil, if you are running the company, you don't have to sort of wait for free time to come. You always have to be the one where you have to get free time for yourself, right? And
Correct.
that's what I've realized, that work will come and go, but if you don't focus on yourself, then you're just a machine, right? And a machine
Right.
can't function for long. You have to be a human at the end of the day. So yeah, I do take out time now. I have more time in my hands due to this whole pandemic situation.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
don't wish for this situation to continue forever. I would still take out time for the situation as well. But yes, I wake up in the morning. I do yoga, meditation, basic bodybuilding exercises. I
Uh-huh.
read books. I've read almost 150 plus books in the last couple of years. So I read lots and lots of books.
Uh-huh.
So that is one thing that I
So,
do. And yes, I
what is that one book that
sometimes
has inspired you ever? Like, that is your
okay.
favorite go-to book?
Sure. So one, it's very difficult to choose one because every book has given
Correct.
me
Correct.
new
Correct.
experience in
Correct.
its one form. But zero to one was one book that really, by Peter Thiel, was
Uh-huh.
one book that really helped me. It gave me insights of how to build startups from scratch, and that's
Oh.
where I fall into the love of idea for early stages. That
Oh.
it's not always about chasing the Infosys and the Wipros of the world. It's about
Right.
building companies from scratch and getting them to the level of an Infosys and an Wipro.
Correct. 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 Correct.
What, according to you, is defines the early stage startup, and like what is the criteria? What's the how do you categorize it?
Sure.
How do you
So
guys categorize
uh,
things?
definitely. So everyone has their own definition of an early stage. A person sitting with 100 crores would see, let's say, a 1 crore startup also at an early stage. A person sitting with 1 crore would value his money much more than a 100 crore person. So early
Correct.
stage depends upon person to person. But typically for FAD, early stage is anywhere a startup which is market operational. It's
Uh-huh.
just not just does not have $1 million idea, a tissue paper idea. It's
Mm-hmm.
out there executing in the market. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
if it's showing early stage revenue,
Mm-hmm.
that is something that we are happy with because it gives us some sort of validation. But there
Mm-hmm.
is no one size fits all metric number that I can give you because everything depends upon startup to startup, right?
Correct.
Someone,
Correct.
let's say, whose products are priced at 1 lakh rupees. For
Mm-hmm.
him, a traction of 10 lakh, a revenue of 10 lakh even would not suffice, right? Because that
Correct.
means
Correct.
he
Correct.
or she has sold 10 products. But for
Correct.
someone who is working at a margin of 200 to 50 rupees basket size, if they're
Uh-huh.
executing 500, 600 orders a day, that is much more different. So you can't compare both the situations,
Mm-hmm.
but either it is in the form of revenue, or let's say if the startup is not generating revenue at the moment, which
Mm-hmm.
happens with a lot of technology products because they're
Correct.
trying to
Correct.
explore what's the business model, what's the
Mm-hmm.
pricing that I can do for my customer.
Mm-hmm.
So with that tech product, we look for traction, right? Metrics in terms of how many users are there, how much
Mm-hmm.
time they are spending on the application,
Mm-hmm.
and what's the fallout rate, how many of them are uninstalling the apps at what period of time. So yeah, so upon startup to startup, these are very different metrics, but yeah, broadly this is how we look at. And anywhere if they're raising 25 lakhs to 3 cr, that
Mm-hmm.
falls within the category of early stage for us, and we work with them for their fundraising.
Correct. Correct. So, what is the future vision for the company? Like, where do you want to expand? And currently, where is the company offices are located?
Sure. So I'll answer the question of the team as well, Kapil, in
Uh,
this. So we are based out of Gurgaon.
uh-huh.
That the team is not very big. As in the industry, if you look at any network, you
Hmm.
will not find large teams coming into the coming and working in India. So
Correct.
they're
Correct. Correct.
smaller teams
Hmm.
because it's a very trustworthy business, right? If you let someone in the team,
Hmm.
all this data of startups are very
Correct. Correct. Correct.
confidential,
Correct. Correct. Correct.
and you have to have that trust in that person. So
Correct.
very small teams. We are spread across two offices.
Hmm.
One is the main office where all three of our partners we sit. Then we have full investors who work with us on a they are on the board of FAD and they work with us very dedicatedly. So I consider them as
Hmm.
a part of the extended team too. Then
Hmm.
also we have an in-house ready finance and legal team.
Okay.
So they sit up in a different office.
Hmm.
I still call them my team because they work with us on an everyday basis. Because investments, you need your CA, you need your legal person on
Absolutely.
phone every day
Correct.
to execute that. So we have about eight to ten odd people there as well. So
Hmm.
not a very big team, but yeah, the roles are clearly defined, who looks at what, and we delegate that work amongst ourselves, and we handle that.
Acha, Aditya, like when you started to have this idea of part, okay, you just came out from college. So was there a very supportive environment from your friends or from your family that you should go and approach your dream, or what is a like? Was there a friction before you actually was able to go towards FARD?
Sure, sure. So yeah, as in FARD was started when I was still in college in the second year,
Correct, correct.
almost the start of the second year of my college, right? And at that point of time,
How old were
I
you?
was
Hmm.
I was somewhere around 19 at that point of time.
Oh,
So yeah, when it started, I was still in my parents and everyone around me, even my
hmm.
friend circle, and they were very apprehensive about what I was doing, right? And though I work in a business college, but then you would be surprised to know that startups are not the new normal in business colleges.
Correct, correct,
Working with
correct,
companies and everything, they are much more given priority than
correct.
working at startups, and it's not generally advised. I don't know what's the reason, but it's generally not advised to
To
start
go
young
to,
at a lot of colleges. So even my teachers, my peers around me, and the environment was fairly competitive at a business college. It's one of the
oh,
best. It's CBS. My college is the second best undergraduate management college in Asia. So the environment was fairly competitive, right?
uh,
Uh, so that was one thing, and my parents as well. I'm the first generation entrepreneur from my family.
oh, nice.
My dad is works with the government. My mom is a teacher. So yeah, living with that family, typical Indian family. That's where I am, middle class, typical Indian family. So yeah, becoming an entrepreneur was not an easy option for them to sort of think. And in fact, you'll be surprised to know I was doing a lot of things at that point of time as well. I was doing stand up comedy, as I
Oh,
told you.
nice.
I was doing. I was working with a lot of NGOs. I was running my campaign Education Yatra,
Uh-huh.
which went on to become a United Nations award-winning campaign. You
Oh, nice.
received many prestigious accolades across the world. So at that point of time, there was no option for my parents, and I did not even tell them that I was doing this thing, right? Because I was very. I used to just come home late in night at 2 at nights. You know that we do most of the open mics at
Correct, correct,
night.
correct, correct, correct. I agree.
At night, I used to come home. My home was in a far distant part of Delhi, and I used to travel to NCR, Gurgaon,
Hmm.
to do shows in the night. So I used to come home at 2 in the night, and my parents were like, "Where are you coming from at this point of time?"
उनने उम्मीद
And I
छोड़ दी
could not
होगी
even tell them.
कि निकल
Bilkul,
गया
I
हाथ
could not
से.
even tell them I was doing comedy and
हाँ.
I was doing startups, I was doing NGO. So pretty crazy story. But yeah, once my parents saw that work, I got the prestigious parliamentary award in
Oh,
2017 right in front of my dad. So
nice.
these moments, I just now recently I was nominated for the prestigious Padma Shri award.
Oh,
So
Wow.
congratulations.
being one of the youngest nominees for that, and now since parents see that, they can become much more appreciative that yes, the kid is up to something, and yes, he's building out something, he's building out a company.
So, like,
So tell me your achievements which actually qualified you for getting selected for the Padma Shri Award.
So I'm still one of the nominations I have for this year. I've been recommended by Delhi government
uh-huh.
this time, so I'm sure. I hope this time it's much more better for me. I hope I get into the final list. So all fingers crossed. But
It's going in the it's going in the podcast. I mean, like by the time
oh,
it goes, you're fine with it being in the podcast.
yeah. No, sure. So I
Awesome.
can publicly announce that. That's not a problem. So, Delhi government, I've been ambassador for for Delhi government's official program, which is entrepreneurship mindset curriculum. So I've been one of the persons who worked with Delhi government a lot into policy side of it as well, and into a lot more into the implementation side of it. So yeah, seeing that work, they've recognized that, and they've sent my name officially with their
Mhm.
letter of recommendation to the Ministry of Home Affairs, which takes care of Padma Shri nominations. So yeah, hopeful of that. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, fairly happy, even if I
All
don't
the
get it.
best for that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But fairly happy. This validation works. Even convinces me. So parents are a second fiddle to it.
Actually,
So
करेक्ट.
yeah.
और पेरेंट्स को नहीं, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम अब तो सोसाइटी को तुम बोल सकते हो कि नहीं, मैंने जो किया वो सही किया.
And age is
Obviously,
just a
obviously.
number, and your achievements actually prove it.
Hey, thank you so much. होता ही है मतलब these validations when they come they are not just motivational for you but an
Correct, correct.
upliftment and motivation for the entire society.
Yeah, yeah. Or because matlab, parents भी, even if they want to support you, there is a pressure from society that pulls them back, or फिर then they pulls you back. It's not actually
Exactly.
parents जो हमारे को मना करते हैं कुछ करने से, it's society, relatives के बच्चा क्या कर रहा है.
Exactly. As I say, our passion is guarded in social construct.
Correct.
Every
Correct.
time it hits the wall, we face resistance, we face tension, everything. But it's all about growing within that field, right? It's all about creating your own circle and
Correct.
breaking all the society constructs.
Acha, so what is those three things that Aditya follows on a daily basis that should be followed to reach where you are right now? What do you think are those three things?
Uh, so, one is obviously that you should know what you're doing in your day, right? I always sort of memorize my what all things I have to do in my day in the first thing in the morning. If you're not doing that, then what you're doing is you're just passing out time, right? You're not growing
Correct.
through time. And it's all about how you can quickly grow through time. That's what even startups are about. So, memorizing that day, listing down your activities clearly. I would say, is also relaxing for a while. On the flip side, it's not following your passion and doing all your struggle is not just about fighting every day, right? It's about fighting, but then also going back, having your chill moments, taking a chill pill at the end of the day, and also being yourself, being a human. If you're not being a human at the end of the day, you're not being yourself, you're not doing your hobbies or your activities,
Correct.
then you can't sustain for long, right? There would be a burnout after some point of time.
Correct.
So that is one thing that I've realized, that work would be there throughout. Like today, even this is almost the fifth podcast I'm doing. I've been since morning. I've done almost 4 interviews and sessions.
Oh,
Work would be there every day throughout. But
correct.
relax and ease throughout. Have fun with the work and have fun with yourself as well. Third thing I would say is maintain fit, right? A healthy mind resides in a healthy body. As entrepreneurs, as people who work in day in day out, there are no fixed timings of work. As freelancers,
Correct.
we don't realize what goes onto our body every day, right? And that also affects your concentration, mental balance, and a whole bunch of things, right? So if you intake a healthy diet, if you exercise regularly, if you meditation has helped me a lot in terms of focusing my mental balance, mental health. So do that, and things would fall in place. These three things you should definitely do that.
What are the major startups that you have worked with, and which entrepreneurs do you think is actually doing really well right now, at least from past last year? Who do you think is the best, most promising entrepreneur that you have come across?
So I'll answer the second question first. It's very difficult to choose one baby who's the best among the babies that you have in the family, right? You can't say this baby is the best. But yeah, we've worked with a lot of early stage companies. We have almost 9 to 10 portfolio companies. It's not a lot, but then we funded quality companies, and that's where our thesis lies. It's not about the quantity; it's always about the quality. So we've funded companies like Clear Dekho, which has now become India's leading budget eyewear retail brand. We invested in 2017 when they had one store. It was our first investment. Oh. And since then, they've grown to 55 stores in Pan India within 2.5 years of our investment. Here Dekho is one. Then we have a company called Stylework, which manages co-working spaces. So on the B2C side, they provide co-working spaces to people. On the B2B side, they provide meeting reimbursement solutions. So they've also grown 4x, 5x baseline improvement in terms of pure revenue post our investment. They are now managing 70 plus spaces in Delhi NCR. Then we have a company, very interesting company called Nature Tattva, which was just recently in news last to last week. Nature Tattva is India's leading DIY organic retail brand. So they source products like shea butter wax, face palm oil, rose hip oil, a lot of these interesting beauty products right from Morocco, Madagascar, Ethiopia, countries like these. They process them into raw materials and float them through a network of through Nykaa, through Amazon, and also through a network of women-driven entrepreneurs and SHG societies in India. So they were in news. The singer Sukhbir Singh, who was sing that song Tare Ishq Tera Tadpaave, he's
Correct, correct,
also
correct.
invested in that company. He's also
Oh,
invested in this company. So
nice.
last week we made that investment, and we were the first investors in Nature's Tattva. They've also grown 3x, 4x. We also helped them get a brand equity deal in the form of Anita Asandani and Rohit Reddy, who are big time TV stars.
Correct, correct,
Instagram following of more than 10 million.
correct.
So doing amazing work, Nature Tattva as well. And just recently, there are a lot of more few companies as well. Fella Feeds, which is into marketing and analytics. T Vibe, which was selling tea in Lucknow and tier 2, tier 3 cities of India. Then very interesting company, the last company we funded called Med Delivery. They're working very aggressively in the
Hmm.
times of COVID-19.
Okay.
They are basically working as a pharma supply chain, and
Uh-huh.
they are helping retailers get their due stock of medicines,
Hmm.
and working with wholesalers and stockists and the entire supply chain in the process. So they are also circulating masks and PPE kits at the moment, and they are doing amazingly well. Very proud of these guys as well. And yes, as I said initially, very difficult to choose one baby, but yeah,
Correct.
Clear Dekho would be a very special one, because the kind of growth we have seen for them in 2.5 years, it's been pretty phenomenal. And I'm sure companies like Stylework, Nature Tattva, and Med Delivery and others as well would join the line. But yeah, it's been a great journey for far throughout, and I hope same is the case with future.
Okay, Aditya, I think there is this one question which is in everyone's mind right now, me, Disha, and everyone who is watching this as well, that even after becoming a CEO, how life changed. Like, अभी भी आपको क्वारंटाइन में बर्तन धोने पड़ते हैं घर पे, धनिया लाना पड़ता है.
देखो, दो चीजें हैं. सो बर्तन तो धोने पड़ते ही हैं. आप नहीं करोगे तो फिर घर से बाहर निकाल तो सकते नहीं. खैर, आपको लॉकडाउन चल रहा है. बट ये है कि यू हैव टू डू समथिंग विद फैमिली. एंड मतलब डिश वॉशिंग इज, आई बिलीव, a very good icebreaker task for family, right? It bonds the
Easy
whole
one
family
also.
together. हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी. एंड धनिया तो देखो क्या है ना कि सुबह ही आता है सब्जी वाला हमारे यहाँ. तो धनिया फिर देता ही है वो सबको, एज अ नॉर्म नाउ. सो 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 धनिया होता ही है. बट इस टाइम पे ना बहुत ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिविटी के इश्यूज आते हैं. आपको ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत ज्यादा प्रोडक्टिव होना है, टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना है. बट इट्स नॉट, वी आर फाइटिंग अ epidemic at the moment.
Correct,
It's not कि हम घर बैठे कुछ कर रहे हैं. We are all performing our part, right?
correct,
So अगर आप थोड़ा chill भी करो and you just take a step back and relax, there's no harm in it, right? And that's what I'm doing. I've been, as I said, reading books, doing dishwashes. I even watched Ramayan in the night. So very interesting things. So yeah,
I watched Ramayana. I think Ramayana was even more entertaining than anything I watched recently on Netflix as well.
obviously, yeah. You see,
करते भी
Ramayan is
है
full.
live रामायण now that everybody is at home.
Obviously, नहीं, live रामायण तो obviously चलती रहती है, but we can't go to Vanvas, right? It's locked down. But yeah, Ramayana is very interesting, and it's glad to see so many young people, so many people of our age,
Correct.
people in 20s, 30s, that they're watching that with full grace.
And making memes also.
Yeah,
How
making
has
especially
COVID
on
actually
Lakshman Ji.
affected any of your startups?
Disha, can you come again with your last question?
How has COVID actually affected so many of your startups? I mean, like, are you suffering or
Yeah,
are
it has affected. Yeah, so it has affected the entire industry. I say it's not just affecting us. So everyone is affected to some form of an extent. But yeah, everyone has shifted now, because they know this will continue for a while. So everyone has now shifted to alternative routes. So
Correct.
since we have consumer brands, we definitely have taken a big hit as well, because consumer brands have been shut. It's a national lockdown. No one can open their shops. No one can distribute. And most of our consumer brands fall into the non-essential category as well. They are, if you look at organic products, if you look at other products, these are not essential categories, right? So yeah, they have taken it. But yes, as I said, Med Delivery is into mass. Clear Dekho is driving a lot of traction, building brand offline. Everyone is doing. Stylework is getting a lot of virtual meetups,
Correct.
virtual co-working space meetups. So everyone is doing something or the other. But yes, this has got affected. But as I said, these are quality companies that we have funded, and we are pretty sure all of them would pass through the stage, and yes, it would be happy times for all of us.
Right now they are break even. Are they at least touching the break even?
Yeah, so a break even is a very abstract term, I believe, because you can break even anytime, right? It's just a matter of investments. How fast you want to grow. You're reinvesting some of your money back as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, we have profitable companies. They are all a bit of positive companies building profitable ventures, and that's where our thesis are. That's where we invest.
And Aditya,
Hmm.
like before you go, what is that one thing that you want to tell all the young entrepreneurs of this country who are still trying to find their niche and starting to growing up?
So, one thing I would like to say to all of you is, first of all, thank you for listening to me patiently, and I hope this video helps you to
It
in some
was.
form or the other. Secondly, I would like to say is that young is not defined by the age. We are past that time where we say a person is 28 or he's young, a person is 70, he's young. Young is defined by how aggressive you are, right? How
Correct.
aggressive you are in terms of the opportunities you exploit, in terms of how concerned you are. So be a young at heart, if not the age. And it's not at all defined by age. What you do with that age is all that matters, right? Every one of us has 24 hours at the end of the day. Even the president of this country has 24 hours at the end of the day. But what we do with that 24 hours is what that matters, right? So utilize that time. Don't just work out 24 hours. Have a good schedule in hand and know what you're doing, know what your passion are, and explore for that. Most of the people in India, they follow what their parents or the society tells, as we were discussing earlier, right?
Correct.
But at the end of the day, it is our passion, it is our life. We have to deal with it every day. If a failure happens, we get to deal with it. So take ownership for that. Even if you fail, you'll not feel sorry because you did something that you actually wanted to do,
Correct.
and it may end up becoming defining moment of your life. As what did with me. If I would not have taken that step to work in a startup, I had internship opportunities with big four companies in India, Deloitte's, McKinsey's. But I did not go for it, right? I wanted to work with a startup. If I had not taken that call, I would have never become an entrepreneur ever in my life. But taking up that call became the defining moment. And these little moments like this, these little moments of passion, of courage, of admiration, ends up becoming the career of your life, the success of your life. And that's what I aim for you. You find that moment, you find your passion, and even if you fail, don't worry. There are a lot of opportunities there out there in the market.
Okay, Aditya. One more thing that is coming in my head, I think I have missed it earlier, is that like you have talked about little things that you should be doing. So, like, are you someone who has a dream that you follow, like a big dream that you want to achieve, or are there small goals that you set up on a daily basis that you want to
Sure.
do?
That's a very, very interesting question, Kapil. And this is something that I had not thought about, to be very honest with you, 1.5 years back. 1.5 years back, I started thinking that I do so much sessions. I do a lot of webinars. I invest a lot of time. And that does not always brings me business, right? My business is investment. This is what I do for the community. So why do I do all of this? I've spoken at almost 200 plus events in the past 2 years. Why do I do all of this? So um, I realized that at the end of the day, my bigger passion is to help other entrepreneurs realize their passion. I would not use the word entrepreneurs, but other people, young people, to realize their passion. Even if it's not becoming an entrepreneur, I play a small hand in letting them go towards their dream. Because I have faced a lot of struggles coming up till here. There have been nights where I have slept outside my home. Right, I was not allowed. There have been nights where we had just one room when FAR started, and we were the three of us in that one single rented room. So there have been times where I had to step out on the road because there was not enough space for people to sit and meet in office. So I've been through that time. I don't want people. And I'm proud I have not taken a single dime from my parents to build this company, right? So I have been I have faced a lot of struggles bringing up with a typical middle Indian class family. So I want other people to realize their passion, to fight for their dreams and goals, and to become successful at it. And that's what my bigger mission lies with. That's through FARD, I help them in getting funded. Through my sessions, I help them in getting motivated. Through seminars, I help them in gaining that knowledge. And through networking, I help them in realizing that dreams a bit more farther. So that's what I do.
Okay, as an end note, last few words.
Thank you so much, Disha and Kapil, for this enriching seminar and podcast. And I hope we interview a lot of inspiring people. We bring in a lot of inspiring stories of entrepreneur. We celebrate entrepreneurship in India. We will grow to an extent manifolds if we start celebrating entrepreneurship
Correct.
and we start celebrating entrepreneurs. And you guys are doing a great job. And I hope you go a long way into this. And to the listeners, lovely listeners out there as well, it's been a pleasure talking to all of you. And whatever questions are there, I'll be happy to take it. And yes, whenever there's a help, I'll be happy to be there.
Okay, thank you, Aditya. Thank you so much. And we wish you all the best for your Padma Shri and all your goals. And
This is my win it.
yeah, and we'll be really glad to see you on the national TV getting that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really hope that comes true. Thank you so much.
We wish the same.
This is for all the budding startups and entrepreneurs who are actually watching this and would want to do something on their own. There's this book called as Ease of Doing Business. It is a compilation of corporate compliances and exemptions for startups. The link for the book is also put down in the description box below. Yeah, some part Karan is featured in that particular book, I guess.
Yeah,
do
read that book.
Chalo, Aditya, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best.
I know what you said.
I said, do go out and read that book.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Chalo, bye
bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.